Welcome back to FM Story. We're into the second half of our first season in Milan, and the last episode didn't end well. We lost the last league game of the episode against Genoa, and we got knocked out at the end of the episode of the Coppa Italia by Juventus. Coming up in this episode, we've got the last 16 of the Champions League against Bayern Munich, and we've also got some big games in the league against Napoli, Roma, and Juventus as well. So without further ado, let's get into the action. We've made it to the end of, approaching the end of March. We've got those two big games coming up against Roma and Juventus. We've had a pretty spectacular run of games, and we've also had a youth intake as well. So first of all, looking at the games we played since the last episode, we ended the last episode getting knocked out of the Coppa Italia by Juventus. First up, we won 4-1 at home against Napoli. We then put 4 past Bologna, who were in third at the time. We beat Cagliari 3-1, then somehow drew 0-0 with bottom of the table Venezia. And then in the most recent league game, we went away to Udinese and won 8-0, having already beaten them 4-0 once this season. Now, I'm genuinely amazed that Udinese are not in the relegation places. As we stand, they're in 17th. And the reason I say genuinely amazed is because obviously we've just beaten them 8-0. Earlier in the season, Inter put 9 past them. And so Verona, Cagliari and Venezia, who obviously we drew with, obviously must be really bad. Where we are at the moment going into this game against Roma, we've got a game in hand on the teams behind us. Inter are within 3 points at the moment. Obviously, if we can beat Roma, we will extend the lead to 6 points. And really, given the season Roma have had, we really should be doing that. We have also had the last 16 of the Champions League, and it was a wild, wild tie. We went 1-0 down after 2 minutes, and then we were 3-1 up after 14 minutes. Ended up finishing 7-3. There was 4-3 at half time, and then a couple of goals from Rafael Leao and one from Fofana in the second half got us a first leg lead at home. We then went into the away leg and a Tammy Abraham hat-trick. He's really kind of come to life in the last few weeks. I think he got 4 in the game against Udinese. He got 3 in the second leg of the last 16. We were always in front in that second leg, and coupled with the advantage we had from the first leg, it was a pretty comfortable passage into the quarterfinals. We're going back to Germany in the quarterfinals. We've been drawn against RB Leipzig. If we make it past Leipzig, there's a chance of a Milan derby in the semi-finals, which would be interesting. But as we say, we've got the 2 games coming up against Roma and then against Juve after the international break. So hopefully we can get another 6 points on the board in the league and push on from there. As we said, we've had the youth intake, and we've got a couple of elite talents, a couple of top talents, and then some good ones from there. I mean, the first of the elite talents, Colorietti, shows as being an attacking midfielder, right winger, but based on his positions and everything like that, looks much more like suited to be in a number 10, which it did say we had coming through in the preview. And then the other elite talent we've got is Francaccini. Definitely a winger. Looks like he can play on the right or the left. Good on both feet. Got 18 for flair. So hopefully he's going to be a decent player for us in the future as well. And then looking at the top talents, a defensive midfielder in Abate, bravery and teamwork and work rate and natural fitness really high already. And then we've got Frinconi, central midfielder, attacking midfielder perhaps. The technicals are a bit of a concern at this stage, but good mentals and next to no physicals so far. And then we've got Moroni, who is a technical deep lying forward. is rated as a top talent, but I think it's going to take some for him to make it into the first team picture. But now we turn our attention to the league. We've got a game coming up against Roma. We've got a couple of players doubtful, and our squad has been stretched of late with some suspensions and injuries. And hopefully we can pick up 3 points at home. So this is the side we've picked for the game against Roma. We are even more struggling for players than we were previously. We are missing 4 players. Teresiano is injured. Chukwueze's coming back from injury and not fit. Reinders is coming back from injury and not fit. And Musa is already away for international duty with the USA. And we don't have an awful lot of depth here, so it could be interesting. And that is not a good start. João Felix injured. Right. We've pushed Loftus-Cheek forward. We brought Branco on, and here he is with the corner straight away to the back post. And Theo Hernandez is headed wide. Right, Theo Hernandez with a throw. Leao back to Hernandez. Leao in the box. I think we've been given a penalty. We've certainly benefited from a few dodgy decisions this season in terms of penalties. Theo Hernandez is going to step up to take it. And the keeper gets across and turns it over. Pretty poor penalty. Not the first one he's missed this season. Branco with the corner. Deep. And the header's forced over for another corner by the keeper. Branco with another corner. Next time the outswinger. Again deep, and the keeper comes and claims it easy. I mean, we've not really been threatened, and we should be 1-0 up. We wasted a really decent chance there with that penalty. But we've had barely any of the ball, and that's going to need to improve in the second half. Right, no more changes at half time. Free kick for them. They've tried to play in behind Hernandez, but now Leao bringing it clear. Theo Hernandez onto Loftus-Cheek. Finds Leao in the box, pulled back. And Jimenez was bundled over, but Yusuf Fofana has steered it home to put us 1-0 up. Loftus-Cheek just drives forward. Leao makes the run that no one tracks. Goes past the man, pulls it back. Angelino and Jimenez have it coming together. The ball just sits nicely for Fofana. And that's 1-0. Right, throw for them. Stante to Trossard, who's on loan there. Pellegrini. Thankfully, that didn't quite bend enough. Right, a couple more changes. Gabbia on for Thiago because of the yellow card away from suspension, and we can't really afford to lose more players before the UV game. And Abraham on up front. Soto's gone back to Walker there. And ball towards the back post. It's headed clear. And Dovbyk has it for them. But Gabbia wins it. Now Leao finds Loftus-Cheek in the box. And he's rifled it into the roof of the net. And that's 2-0. And surely we should be looking at 3 points here now. Gabbia wins it. Finds Leao. Again, no one tracks a run. This time of Loftus-Cheek. He's in the box. And he just drives to the corner of the 6-yard box. And then just lifts it over the keeper into the roof of the net. And Soto with a free kick for us. The keeper parries it. Walker's on hand to tap it in. And the keeper's made an absolute mess of that one. Soto hits it from distance. The keeper gets across, just can't direct it anywhere other than practically straight up in the air. And Walker's the only one that reacted. Corner for us. Now they're looking to bring it clear. Kone. Went to Pellegrini. They're looking to stretch us at the back here, but Gabia steps in and wins it. Now Fofana turns, looks to play Leao in. It eventually falls for Loftus-Cheek. And he gets his second goal of the game and puts us 4-0 up. And this has turned into a bit of a drubbing. I mean, for all the possession they've had, they've not been a threat at all in this game. Now, it was eventually a tackle from Coney that found the ball through to Loftus-Cheek, and he just slips it past the keeper. Right, this is getting beyond a joke now. Theo Hernandez off injured, and we are down to the barest of bare bones here. Walker with a throw. Fofana to Tomori. Walker on the right. Back to Tomori. Fofana onto Branca into the box. And he smashed that in the top corner. And that's 5-0. So Tomori finds Fofana, who just plays it first time. Branca gets in between two defenders and just cuts across it slightly and arrows it into that top corner. Right, deep in injury time. Goal kick for us out to Florenzi, who's on at left back. On the line for Leao. Gabia. Branca. Florenzi driving in field. And Fofana cuts onto his left foot. Has a go. Looks to bend it into the bottom corner and it just doesn't bend enough. And there we are, full-time 5-0. Another thoroughly dominating performance, but potentially two big injuries there with João Felix and Theo Hernandez. Hopefully the international break gives them a chance to get back for the Juve game, and hopefully we'll see the likes of Reinders and Chukwueze back fit before that Juve game as well. So, time for the game against Juventus. This is the side we've picked. We did get a bit of a scare in the international break in that Rafael Leao picked up a knock, but he's fit enough to start. Reinders is fit enough to start. Unfortunately, Theo Hernandez missed a failed fitness test. Teresiano failed fitness test. João Felix is going to be out for another couple of weeks. Gabby is struggling a bit with an injury as well. So we are struggling, and hopefully, I mean, we didn't actually lose that many players to cause us to have this lack of depth, but it's certainly something we'll address next season. We do have a lot of players out on loan at the moment that will probably be coming back into the squad. So it's 4-2-3-1, 4-2-3-1. We've gone with Rafael Leao in the number 10 behind Abraham with Sotil and Chukwueze wide. Right, Walker with a throw in our half. Tomori. Manu just lumps it forward. Sotil kept hold of it. Fofana loses it with a loose touch, and Thuram finds Kolomuani, lifts it to the back post, and thankfully that's not another header from Nico Gonzalez. I mean, Koopmeiners with the corner. We've actually won a header there, but Bremer sends it back out to Koopmeiners, and Nico Gonzalez on the edge of the box comes crashing back off the woodwork, and we've hammered it clear. We have not started this game particularly well at all. Right, and Rafael was struggling, so we've made a change. We've actually gone to a back five just to try and solidify things a bit. A throw for them. Locatelli to Thuram, driving towards the edge of the box and gets underneath it, thankfully for us. And there we are, half-time 0-0. Very, very, in fact, nothing of us from an attacking point of view in this game. It is all them, and we are hanging on a bit at the moment. No more changes at half-time. But immediately, we've lost a player. Emerson Royale off, injured, having just come on just before half-time. Gabia on, Walker back to right back. Right, we've brought Musa on for Reinders in midfield. We brought Jimenez on up top instead of Abraham. now we've lost Chukwueze to injury. And having already made 5 changes, we're now stuck with 10 men for the rest of this game. And a corner for them. Back out to Douglas Luiz. Ball to the back post. It's come back off the woodwork. In fact, Magnin actually saved it. It looked like it came off the woodwork. We are definitely hanging on this game. This is probably one of our worst performances of the season so far. Milik with a free kick for them. I mean, Magnin was rooted to the spot. Thankfully, it was just over the top. And there we are, full time 0-0, and we might be struggling for to be able to field a team in the next game. And there we are, the end of another episode, and not the best performance. We are still 4 points clear at the top of the table. We do have a massive goal difference, but obviously it doesn't necessarily come down to goal difference. We potentially have 3 games coming up against Inter before the end of the season. We've got a chance still at winning the league, a chance still at winning the Champions League. So join us in the next episode to see if we end the season with a trophy at all, or are all these injuries going to catch up with us. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you then.